I think Gennady Golovkin should stay at middleweight. I listen to a lot of YouTube commentators, people who have channels here, insisting the guy should move up to the division above, super middle. I completely disagree. First and foremost, there seems to be this wide-held perception that I think is totally false, that Gennady Golovkin has cleaned out the middleweight division. Maybe you would agree that Martin Murray is a top 5 middleweight. I certainly think that he is between number 4 and number 8, so he's in that sort of spectrum of middleweights. I had one conversation in the comments section with an ardent Gennady Golovkin fan who was insisting Daniel Gill was some sort of world beater the other day. It seems they Golovkin fans at some point try and talk up former opponents to try and make it look like their fighter is even more of a force to be reckoned with. But let's be honest, Daniel Gill, top 10 if we're being charitable. Martin Murray, borderline top 5. We're a long way from him cleaning out the middleweight division. I won't go through the list again, but there's a lot of exciting fights at middleweight. Actually, I will go through the list again. Quillen, Lee, Cotto, and Dan, Billy Joe Saunders, Chris Eubank Jr. I'm not saying these guys beat Gennady Golovkin. Don't get me wrong. I really am not saying they beat him. But these are credible, entertaining fights, still at 160. Now, I also think there's a lot of fighters at 154 who stylistically may give Golovkin trouble. Demetrius Andrade, Erislandy Lara, Austin Trout, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Realistically, I think out of that list, it may actually be Erislandy Lara who stylistically could give him the most problems. What I'm saying is, for me, there's a huge amount of credible opponents at 154 and at 160 who could potentially fight Gennady Golovkin. Now, I think there are weaknesses to his game. For me, if you can push Gennady Golovkin onto his back foot, he doesn't look comfortable. We don't really see Golovkin on his back foot, so we can't make a full and frank judgment because there isn't enough evidence available. But Martin Murray pushed him back once last night, and when he did, he was able to land on him. Golovkin is a pressure fighter, he enjoys coming forward, he enjoys throwing bombs, similar in that sense to Chris Eubank Jr. And I think when he's put on his back foot, it's not where he likes to be. I'm not saying he's hugely frail, I'm not saying if he gets put on his back foot, he's going to lose. I'm just saying, you're taking him out of his comfort zone. So, I think that's a potential weakness. Defensively last night, and I talked about this in my post-fight video, but I'll talk about it again. Weaknesses. He was eating the Murray jab. He was very hittable to his body. Very hittable to his body. I thought when he was in close range, he had almost no defence. Martin Murray was regularly landing short punches, short hooks. I thought this was a guy who was really open when he moved forward, which he does all the time. I thought this was a guy who was hugely open when he threw bombs. If you have a clever fighter who knows how to defend and can counterpunch, like Murray was trying to do, and to an extent, like Murray was having success with, you've got the potential to have effectiveness against Gennady Golovkin. Now, the commentators last night were giving him so much praise on his chin, but let's be honest, Murray isn't a big puncher. Wait till we see him against Lemieux, wait till we see him against Lee, wait till we see him against Quillen. Then let's decide what his chin's like at 160. Now, I think Gennady Golovkin is the number 1 middleweight. I really do. I think he probably beats everyone out there at 160. What I'm saying is there is a lot of very entertaining fights that we're still yet to see. He's a long way from cleaning out his division. Peter Quillen, Lee, Lemieux and Dam. I want to see all these fights. And I think the reason behind that is, I think Golovkin loses if he steps up to 168. And I'll tell you why. For a start, I think he's a small middleweight. I genuinely do. If you look at him next to Martin Murray last night, after Murray had rehydrated, Murray looked like a beast compared to him. So did Marco Antonio Rubio in their last fight. I know Murray and Rubio are considered large middleweights, but Golovkin was noticeably smaller than these two guys. What's it going to be like at super middleweight against guys like Carl Frost, Andre Ward, Arthur Abraham? Secondly, I think with his defensive frailties, Martin Murray is a light hitter at middleweight. Let's be real. If he steps in the ring with someone like Frost, someone like Abraham, someone like Andre Ward, these guys are going to be hitting a hell of a lot harder than Martin Murray. A hell of a lot harder than Martin Murray. And I wonder, does he actually have a good chin? The fact that he hasn't been knocked out by Martin Murray, by Matthew Macklin, by Daniel Gill, does that mean his chin will hold up to the kind of punishment that Carl Frost threw against George Groves when he knocked George Groves out? I don't know. I think that's an open debate. Finally, as I say, a fighter like Carl Frost, who's so much bigger and stronger, perhaps he's able to push Gennady Golovkin on the back foot. Frost isn't a guy who takes a backward step. And Frost is a bigger guy. He's taller, he's heavier. For me, 168 is not a sensible move for Golovkin. Why? Because Golovkin's main attribute is his power. That's going to be less relevant against the bigger men at 168. Because Golovkin is defensively open, and his chin is going to be tested a lot more in a higher weight division. Because Golovkin is very front foot heavy, and he's going to be put on his back foot more. And because Golovkin is small at middleweight, so he's going to be tiny at super middleweight. There's multiple reasons it's dangerous for him to move up. Having seen Abraham Smith last night, I think Abraham Golovkin, very, very entertaining match. I'd love to see Andre Durrell versus Golovkin. I'd love to see James DeGale Golovkin. I would love to see Andre Ward Golovkin. I'd love to see Carl Frost Golovkin. I don't know if I've said Durrell, probably have, but I'd love to see Andre Durrell Golovkin. There are multiple real mouth-watering classes at 168. I really don't deny that. And I think they're real 50-50 fights, which is what we love. But for Golovkin, as a boxer, as a businessman, I think it would be a very poor move. There's a lot of big fights out there from 160. A real lot of big fights. As I say, Cotto, Quillen, Lee, and Darm, Lemieux. Beat some of those guys before looking to move up to 168. You're still a long way away from cleaning out the division. And I think, personally, you're going to get found out if you move up to super middleweight. That's not really me being critical over Gennady Golovkin. I think, let's put it this way, one of my favourite fighters is James DeGale. Huge James DeGale fan. I think James DeGale could well get found out if he moves up to light heavyweight. Because it's not his weight. He's fighting much bigger guys out of his comfort zone. So, it's not a criticism for me that I'm saying Golovkin gets beat if he steps up to super middleweight. This is not me hating on Golovkin. Because Golovkin is a middleweight. And as I'm saying, I think he is the number one middleweight. But for me, in terms of being the kind of fighter who can step up and fight out of your weight division, he doesn't have that style. Floyd Mayweather has that style. Because even though he's facing bigger, stronger men who hit harder than him, he's so defensively sound. He takes so little punishment. And he relies on outpointing people and outskilling people that he can go up the divisions. He can fight much bigger men like Canelo, like Oscar de la Hoya, and win. But for me, Golovkin doesn't have that. He's a power-focused fighter with limited defence. No head movement. How a fight? I didn't even mention that. No head movement at all. Very easy to hit to the body. Very easy to catch with your jab. Very easy to catch as he's coming in. A counterpuncher's dream. Clearly you need to stay off the ropes. You can't allow him to do what he did to Murray last night and just take huge amount of punishment. But guys like Andre Ward, they have a different skill level altogether than Martin Murray. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're even more durable. I can't see Golovkin beating these guys. Not a criticism, I probably can't see James DeGale beating the number one in the division above him, Sergey Kovalev, even though I'm a massive James DeGale fan, because it's just not his division. But I think we've got to resist the urge, even though the fights are very appealing. Should Golovkin step up to 168? It's just, for me, there's too much weaknesses to his game, and there's too much left for him at 160. Let me know your thoughts. Many thanks for watching.